All right, let's get into this because what looks like just a jersey number change might actually be the start of something way bigger in Dallas. George Pickens has officially been assigned a number with the Cowboys, and not just in some mock-up or fan edit. No, this is live on the DallasCowboys.com Pro Shop. His jersey is already available for pre-order. That alone should make your ears perk up a little. I mean, the team store doesn't start selling pre-orders unless they're confident that number is sticking. That's not something they do randomly, especially with someone like Pickens who's stepping into a high-visibility role. Now you might be thinking, it's just a number, what's the big deal? But in the NFL, jersey numbers are like territory. When a new guy gets a number, especially one that was worn by a vet, it's not just about style, it's about status. And in this case, the number 3 was last worn by Fowler Jr. But now, you can't even find Fowler's jersey on the Cowboys' official site anymore. Seriously, I checked it myself. It was there not long ago, but now, gone, scrubbed. Meanwhile, Google still thinks it exists and links to the page, but when you click, nope, nothing there. So what does that tell you? Someone's making room, and it looks like that someone might be Fowler. The fact that the number 3 is no longer tied to his jersey online tells us that something behind the scenes is shifting. And maybe it's just a number reassignment. Or maybe it's the front office reshuffling more than we realize. When a veteran like Fowler quietly loses his number, that's worth watching. Quick question for you. Do you think this jersey switch means George Pickens is already being positioned as a major piece of the offense? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments and let me know how you feel about it. And hey, if you're enjoying this kind of behind-the-scenes breakdown, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe so we can push this channel past the 14,000 mark. Let's keep this Cowboys community growing. So if Fowler's out as number 3, that opens the door to ask, what number is he going to wear now? This isn't just a fashion decision for him. It actually gives us a window into what might be happening inside the Cowboys' locker room. Let's go back a bit. In college, and even with Washington, Fowler wore number 6. In fact, across his career, it's always been some version of 6 or 56. That's just part of his identity on the field. But here's the issue. Number 56 is already taken. That belongs to Cooper Beebe, the rookie offensive lineman who's coming in with some serious buzz. And I'll tell you right now, there's almost no chance Beebe gets pushed off his number. The front office is investing in him, and you don't pull that kind of stunt on a young guy the team is counting on to develop. So that leaves one option for Fowler if he wants to stay true to himself, number 6. And guess who's wearing that right now? Donovan Wilson. That's where this really starts to get interesting. Wilson is still recovering from off-season knee surgery, and while he's expected back for training camp, the safety room in Dallas is stacked. Guys like Wanye Thomas, Israel Mukwamu, and Marquese Bell are all right there, pushing hard, and they've been making noise. If you're following the breadcrumbs here, the dots are starting to connect. What if this jersey number shuffle is the early sign that Donovan Wilson might be on the bubble? Could number 6 be freed up not because someone asked nicely, but because the team is preparing to move on? You don't make those moves lightly, especially not with a respected vet like Wilson. But if the team's doing some behind-the-scenes planning, it could explain why Fowler's number disappeared so suddenly. Let me throw it to you. Do you think Fowler Jr. is actually gearing up to take number 6 from Wilson? Or do you think he's going to try something completely new? Drop your guess in the comments. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss the next piece of this puzzle. We're just getting started. All right, so if Fowler Jr. really is targeting number 6, that brings us back to Donovan Wilson and his future with this team. Now, let's not pretend this is just about jersey numbers. This might be the first real clue that Wilson could be on the chopping block. And honestly, if that's the case, it would be a tough pill to swallow for a lot of Cowboys fans. Remember, Wilson's been a tone setter on this defense. Hard hitter, vocal leader, and the kind of guy you want flying around the field on Sundays. But here's the reality. Availability matters, and Wilson's injury history is starting to stack up. He missed a chunk of time last season, and this offseason knee surgery isn't helping his case, especially when you've got young, cheaper talent knocking at the door. Look at the safety depth chart. Marquise Bell stepped up in a big way last year, flashing range and physicality. Wanye Thomas impressed coaches with his versatility, and Israel Mukwamu continues to be a favorite because of his length and ability to cover tight ends. That's 3 guys right there, all hungry, all ready to carve out a role. And the salary cap reality? Wilson's deal isn't massive, but it's big enough that if Dallas feels they can get similar production for less money, they'll have to consider it. So let's connect some dots here. Fowler's jersey number vanishes. He's potentially targeting 6, and Wilson, who owns that number, is rehabbing and faces serious competition. It might not be a coincidence. It could be the first subtle sign that the Cowboys are preparing to shift some pieces. I want to know what you think. Is Donovan Wilson's job safe? Or do you think the front office might be quietly preparing to make a tough call and let him go? Drop a comment with your take. And if you had to make the decision today, would you keep Wilson or ride with the younger, healthier guys? Don't go anywhere. We've got more signs and rumors pointing toward big changes in Dallas. Stick around, because the next clue might surprise you. Now let's really dig into this number situation and what it tells us about how the Cowboys might be thinking behind closed doors. Because here's the thing. Jersey numbers don't just disappear from the team store unless something's happening behind the scenes. Dante Fowler Jr.'s number 3 was available not long ago. Then, suddenly it's gone from the Cowboys' official site. You can't buy it, you can't pre-order it. That doesn't just happen for no reason. And right around the same time, George Pickens' jersey with number 3 pops up in the official shop, ready for pre-order. That's not just random. This isn't some fan-made graphic. This is coming straight from the Cowboys' own store. That tells you that someone high up signed off on that listing. So either Fowler gave up number 3 voluntarily, or he was told to give it up, because changes are coming. Either way, that number is now linked to Pickens. That's the clearest public signal yet that the Cowboys are all in on making him a centerpiece in this offense. Now, why does that matter? Because this kind of symbolic shift usually comes with real roster consequences. If Fowler gives up number 3 and wants to go back to wearing number 6, like he did in college and in other stops around the league, but number 6 is currently taken by Donovan Wilson, well, we've got a potential chain reaction. Someone's got to give, and the Cowboys have shown time and time again that they're not afraid to make bold moves when it comes to reshaping the roster. We've seen it with veterans before. It starts with something small, like a jersey change, and suddenly a name's missing from the locker room. So when we look at Donovan Wilson, already facing pressure from young talent and rehabbing a knee, this number shuffle starts to feel less like a coincidence and more like writing on the wall. What do you think? Is this just off-season noise, or is there real smoke here? Tap the like button if you're seeing the signs too, and let's keep pushing toward that 14,000 subscriber goal. We're not done yet. The next part might just connect everything. So here's where it all comes together. We started with a jersey number that disappeared. Then we found a new jersey with the same number, linked to a star receiver the Cowboys have been eyeing. We talked about George Pickens and how his potential arrival would completely reshape the wide receiver room. And we brought up Donovan Wilson, the veteran safety who might be the odd man out if these changes start a chain reaction. But there's one more layer to this story, and it might just be the most telling. Let's talk contracts and cap space. The Cowboys have been unusually quiet in free agency this year. It's not because they don't want to make moves, it's because they're waiting for the right move. Trading for a young, explosive receiver like George Pickens, who's still on a rookie deal, that's a financially smart play. And if moving on from a guy like Donovan Wilson helps clear space or opens the door for another young player to step up, it makes even more sense. And let's be real, the Cowboys have to find a spark. They've spent the offseason preaching change, accountability, and building a tougher, faster roster. Bringing in Pickens checks all those boxes. Losing a veteran like Wilson would sting, sure, but it's the kind of tough decision that playoff teams aren't afraid to make. That's why this isn't just about jersey numbers. It's about a shift in identity, a reset, a message that nobody's spot is guaranteed, not even if you've been around for years or made big plays in the past. So here's my question for you. If trading for George Pickens means Donovan Wilson is gone, would you make that deal? Let me know in the comments. Would you rather ride with a proven veteran on defense or roll the dice on an electric young receiver? And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We're closing in on 14,000 Cowboys fans strong, and your support is what keeps this community growing. We'll keep watching every clue, every rumor, and every snap, because if something big is coming to Dallas, you'll hear it here first.